for the 28th of July 2021. Due to the current public health order, everyone present must wear a face mask for the duration of the time that they are inside the chamber. Myself, councillors and staff may remove our face mask when addressing council only, but must wear a mask at all other times. I think that person's out of order. So, but must wear a mask at all other times. The meeting is being held in the council chamber with a COVID-19 safety plan in place due to the current advice from the Office of Local Government, which states that council should return face-to-face meetings from the 26th of March 2021 onwards. For the conduct of this meeting, I'm exercising my power under section 226 brackets D of the Local Government Act 1993 to suspend the Code of Meeting Practice and next procedures. And this relates to councillors to submit to council 5 business days prior to the meeting a request to attend via audio-visual link, and for this attendance to be resolved by council to allow for councillors who are subject to stay-at-home orders, who are unwell or who are subject to border restrictions to be able to attend via audio-visual link if they wish due to the current public health order in place. This council meeting is being live streamed via YouTube and recorded and published online via council website. To those present in the meeting today, by participating in this public meeting, you are consenting to your image, your voice and comments being recorded and published. The Mayor and or the General Manager have the authority to pause the live stream if comments or debate are considered defamatory or otherwise inappropriate for publishing. Participants are advised that they may be subject to legal action if they engage in unlawful behaviour or commentary. Item 1.A, requests from councillors to attend via live stream. Councillor Nolan will be attending by participating by audio link due to the current border closure. I'll move to item 2, apologies and granting leave of absence. We have no apologies for this meeting, except, and we note that we have Councillor Nolan's request to attend via audio link. So I do have to have a mover to accept that. No, I don't. Not under that. Thank you, councillors. We'll move to Councillor Adams to say the prayer, item 3.
Almighty God, we ask you to invoke our blessing upon this council. Direct and prosper our deliberations to the advancement and true welfare of the people of the council area, our state and Australia. Amen.
Thank you, Councillor Adams. Councillor Gallagher, would you like to do the acknowledgement of country?
Yes, I acknowledge the traditional owners upon the land upon which we meet and pay our respect to those elders, past, present and emerging.
Thank you, Councillor Gallagher. We'll now move to the minutes. The minutes of the ordinary meeting of the council in the City of Broken Hill for June 30th, 2021, and the minutes of the extraordinary meeting of the council of the City of Broken Hill held on July 7th, 2021 be confirmed. Do I have a mover? Moved by Councillor Adams, second by Councillor Clark. Is there any debate? No debate. I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Declared that unanimous. Thank you, councillors. Move to item 6, disclosure of interest. Are there any disclosures of interest for this meeting by councillors or staff? No disclosures. Thank you, councillors. We'll move to item 7, mayoral minute, item 1. Councillors, I'll move my mayoral minute number 5/21. This is the proposal to establish a sister city relationship with Blacktown City Council. The motion reads that the mayoral minute be received, that council liaise with Blacktown City Council to discuss the possibility of forming an artist-based sister city friendship and agreement, that council receives a further report regarding the outcomes of these discussions, and that the report to include the amount of funding required to participate in the Sister City Cultural Exchange Program and the benefits to Broken Hill. Item 4 from that is that correspondence be sent to Canterbury Bankstown City Council, thanking them for their long-standing sister city relationships with Broken Hill. Do I have a mover, Councillor Adams? Councillors, as you know, I'll speak to the motion. As you are all aware, Broken Hill City Council had a long-term relationship with the City of Bankstown for many years, and I know that Councillor Page and Councillor Allgate, Councillor Adams and myself and others were all part of those committees over that time. Since around 2011, our numbers deteriorated. Unfortunately, the issue of homestay became an issue for everyone. Getting sporting groups involved was a struggle. Council had a meeting with Bankstown Canterbury because by 2018 they had been merged. We met with the mayor. At that stage, they were not interested in progressing this at that time. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to look at the relationship being rebuilt, but Blacktown Council has written to us, who have had a relationship with us, with the Bankstown Canterbury Council, and we're really keen to look at how they could have a sister city relationship with the Broken Hill City Council. This is an absolute win for Broken Hill. It was an unexpected outcome, I have to say. I know the Deputy Mayor, who's the chair of the Sister City Committee, is very pleased with this outcome, but I hope that the councillors, as equally as so, I think we all share disappointment about Blacktown Council and also about sporting groups and the fact that homestay isn't the safest thing for children anymore. But for us going forward, it certainly is. We're grateful for what we've had. It certainly was a great outcome. Just because we have the sister city with Blacktown won't stop us pursuing sporting events as well, but this is stage one of progressing forward. Councillors, is there any speakers against?
Move an amendment.
What's your amendment, councillor?
My amendment, Madam Mayor, is to reinvigorate the Sister City 355 committee to facilitate the fantastic Bankstown Broken Hill sister city relationship, that expressions of interest be put out for interest from sporting groups in Broken Hill, the local gaming clubs be contacted, as well as the Bankstown Club, to promote this. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Do you have a seconder for your amendment, councillor?
I'll second that, Madam Chair, and I have a question, if I may.
Yes.
Could I ask who made the decision on behalf of this council to end the Bankstown Broken Hill sister city relationship?
No, but we actually had, I think you might have heard in my debate that we actually invited the Mayor of Bankstown, Canterbury Bankstown, to Broken Hill in 2018. The councillors met with him and he said that he didn't want to pursue a sister city relationships for sport or for other things at this stage. So we didn't make a decision not to. This isn't stopping it. It
Right.
still sits there, but it is the fact that they don't want to have it.
Okay.
So this is why Blacktown has stepped in and said that they are interested in having a very positive relationship. It's just at this stage, we had the meeting with the mayor. We had the meeting with the chair.
Just a point of order, Madam Mayor. I moved an amendment. There's been a debate and talking between I know it's Councillor Allgate that asked the question, but the fact is I moved the amendment, and as the mover amendment, I'm the
Yeah,
next to speak.
Sorry.
And so it's a little bit off-putting that we're now going. So I've moved an amendment. We're talking about what's going on with the motion.
Sorry, Councillor Allgate. Councillor Kennedy wants to speak. Thank you, Councillor Kennedy.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move the motion because the Bankstown Sister City relationship is an important relationship. It's gone on for many years and many kids have been involved with that. It might be fantastic that many of the councillors here that have been involved, and I was on it for a couple of years as well. But the reality is what it was good for was the kids that were involved with it. It's fine. There's a trade with council sharing resources and all this sort of stuff. That's not the main point of the sister city. The main point of the sister city, which was driven by the Bankstown Sporting Club, was to facilitate this for kids, and they donated a significant amount of money. If the Bankstown Council isn't interested in it, let's go straight to the Bankstown League Club. Is it called, Bob? But the Bankstown District Sports Club, and get them involved, because I'm sure there's, I'm sure the musos, the demo, the workies, the sturt, they'd also be willing to get involved. Let's get a group of people together on the sister city that are willing to work hard to make sure that we do get those sporting events and those sporting teams back involved in it. It wouldn't be hard. I'm involved with many sports in Broken Hill, football, soccer, tennis, golf, cricket. So you have a councillor on there that's involved with five team sports. The reality is our council has let the community down by letting this go. It might be fine to say since 2011 and it hasn't been working. It hasn't been working because it hasn't been operated properly and the work hasn't been done. And I'm quite happy to say that right now, that the work hasn't been done. If we got a good group of people together that had the motivation, it would be done. What happens all too often is it's left to die, and that is the reality. Someone gets in control, whoever, and at the moment I believe it's Councillor Adams, gets in control and it falls over. You need people that are motivated. People were driven off that committee, and since then it's been downhill. I say let's start fresh. Fine to start up a new Bankstown, new relationship with Blacktown, but let's not give up on the one we have. There's plenty of sister city things that Broken Hill had at one time. We had one with Chinese, Japanese. We had sister city things going on all the time, and they were all successful. It has fallen apart. It's fallen apart because the people in charge are not doing a good enough job.
Councillor Kennedy, I'll move to Councillor Adams, who's speaking against your amendment.
Yeah, I would start with that, we should all be reminded that every year we are, councillors got the opportunity to choose whatever committees they go on. And, if there's councillors here that are so involved in sport, it's a shame that they didn't put their hands up on regular occasions when they had the opportunity.
Point of order.
We had,
Point of order, Madam Mayor. You know, under the Act, it's not up to another councillor to try and have a go at a councillor because they're not on a committee or whatever. The reality is I pick which committees I go on. And for the councillor there to say that he had the opportunity, we have a councillor on it. And if I thought I could get the votes to do the things that I want to do, happy to go on all committees. Every single committee in the whole of this place, I'm happy to be on. So
Councillor,
the point of
order.
Well, my point of order is, under the Act, it's not up to a councillor to have a go at another councillor because they may not attend a meeting or may not attend a committee meeting or be on a committee meeting.
So, Councillor, I'm going to rule that Councillor Adam was responding to your address when you said that you were on all those sporting groups. That's what she was saying, I'm sure, wasn't it, Councillor Adams? Yep.
And said I didn't go on it. I don't have to go on any committee. I said I'm willing to go on it to further improve it.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Adams, continue.
the situation happened from about 2011, 12. The numbers gradually decreased as far as the number of those attending the sister city, both Bankstown and Broken Hill. The sport codes themselves went from about 3 or 4 types down to 2. Basically, in the end, we were having cricket and basketball or netball. The last one, which was 2013, when Broken Hill came to Bankstown, Bankstown brought 7 netballers. 7 netballers for something that this place was. We were using our own netballers to make up Bankstown teams. It's progressively got worse. Bankstown felt the same way. As far as asking the codes within this city, we continually ask the codes every year to organise groups to come, and we were continually having no one turn up. I don't think anyone could have done much more. Quite happy for someone to take it over, and I'm sure someone will. I don't believe that we can work as far as the sporting groups are concerned like we used to, because a lot of the codes are supplying the trips and so on to their members anyway. This sister city was brought in because of many not being able to do that. That's what it started with. Now, people that have their children involved in sport are not prepared to pay for them to go on a trip with Bankstown to Bankstown, Broken Hill, or whichever way, when they're already contributing to trips within their own codes. We have been looking at different ways of the Bankstown relationship. The mayor certainly is not interested to assist. We were thinking about opening it up. Sorry, Bankstown. We were thinking of opening it up for an older group as well, because of the train, thinking maybe we could use the sister city Broken Hill as ambassadors. That could also happen with Blacktown if we go ahead with Blacktown. I'd love to see Bankstown Broken Hill continue, but I also think that we can approach Blacktown, look at what they're offering as well, and I think everyone would be happy with that.
Thank you. Speakers against? Councillor Page, were you speaking against? Oh, sorry, speaking for the amendment, Councillor Page?
What I'd like to do is just give a little bit of history. And I'm not disagreeing with Councillor Kennedy or anyone else, but the driving force back then was the sporting clubs. The Bankstown Sporting Club over there, as Councillor Allgate can tell you, they used to put in huge amounts of money so we could travel over there and be a success. So the driving force was not both councils, but the sporting club. So if anything's done in the future, along the lines of what Councillor Kennedy is saying, we need the financial help of all sporting clubs, especially Bankstown or Blacktown. They're very financial locations, and they're the ones that can make a success.
Thank you. Let's go to Councillor Allgate, and then
On the Bankstown.
so Councillor Adams, we're supposed to have debate in the process, and Councillor Page may have stepped out, but thank you for that. Councillor Allgate, you're speaking for the amendment?
Yeah, I'm speaking for the amendment. The sister city was dear to me after being the chairman for 16 years. And I agree with what Councillor Page has said. The prime movers were not the councils, not the council at the other end. It was the Bankstown District Sports Club and the sporting bodies. And what really kept our group together back at that time, up until 2004, was the fact that the committee comprised almost exclusively, apart from two council people, myself and Yvonne Dalwood, sporting representatives. There were no other people on the committee other than sporting reps themselves. And, we had some wonderful experiences, and there are some councillors that participated over the years. What really disappoints me is that the management of the Bankstown District Sports Club has changed. The long-serving president, after 35 years, resigned. He's now passed away. And the secretary manager that was also in tune with the way we were thinking, he also retired. So there has been a change at the top. But when I last spoke to them, and that's some years ago, they were still keen. They were still keen. They are a sporting club. They have contacts in all of the sporting areas in Western Sydney. They, in fact, have their own sporting organisations. And I'd be surprised if they're not still interested. One thing that concerns me, one thing that really concerned me was that we lost the opportunity to continue to send, irrespective of Bankstown, to send children to Japan. Over a period of time, we sent something like 350 people to Japan, to Sweden, mostly children. 65 odd people went for a baseball trip. The Oz Ensemble from William High School, there was almost 100 in that group. Those sort of things have been lost. The other thing is that the visiting groups from Sweden that used to come to Broken Hill, fully funded by the people who came here, no cost to the council. In fact, the sister city used to make a small profit on that. Those people, that sort of experience where you have city people from a different country with a different culture and a totally different outlook on life, meeting up with people in the outback that have never really been exposed to that, and vice versa, when our kids went over there, that seemed to be just forgotten by previous committees. I'm not trying to criticise previous committees, but it appeared to me that it was just too hard. And I think that's a terrible shame. And if we can conjure up some interest with Bankstown again, and also with Blacktown, that's fine. I'd be more than happy to be involved in a minor way, not like I was before. But I think we owe it to the children of the town to try and get something started. Those opportunities that they had before that have now been lost need to be regurgitated.
Thank you, councillor Allgate. Speakers against the amendment, councillor Clark.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Look, I have great sympathy with the sentiments expressed about the Bankstown sister city sporting events that took place. My children were involved in those back when the interest was really, really high. I think we can safely say that in more recent times that even locally, I know that we've heard that the Bankstown interest have declined, but certainly amongst the children here in Broken Hill, a lot of those struggled to find teams as well. And I don't know, there are a number of reasons of that. I think, kids do lose interest and there were, as I think Madam Mayor has expressed, child protection issues raised their heads, and that did, I think, concern quite a lot of parents. But notwithstanding any of that, the Bankstown interest or disinterest, should we say, has been made plain. That has been made very plain. Now, there may well be, I don't know, but certainly Councillor Allgate may have other knowledge that the Bankstown District Sporting Club may indeed come to the rescue of this. But I think that if we're going to make any sort of overtures, we'd better have all our ducks in a row too. And so I've got an amendment, Madam Mayor.
I'm dealing with one amendment at the moment. I haven't foreshadow amendment.
Oh,
If
okay.
you foreshadow an amendment,
I shall foreshadow an amendment. Thank you.
So I've got to deal with Councillor Kennedy's amendment. Sorry, I've got to deal with dealing with Councillor Kennedy's amendment at the moment. So Councillor Kennedy's amendment relates to reinvigorating the Bankstown sister city. I'll put Councillor Kennedy's amendment. All those in favour? Councillor Kennedy, Councillor Allgate, Councillor Page against, Councillor Brown, Councillor Clark, Councillor Cool, Councillor Gallagher, Councillor Adams, Mayor Shirley. The amendment's lost. What's your amendment, Councillor?
Sorry. Right, thank you, Madam Mayor. I think, as I said, I'm sympathetic to the sentiments that have been expressed about this previously long-standing association. So my amendment is that Councillor Kennedy gauge the interest among the many sports.
Sorry, I'm just going to pause for a moment and say that I didn't read out Councillor Nolan's vote for the vote to say that Councillor Nolan had voted as well in favour against the amendment. So go ahead, Councillor Clark.
Sorry?
Go ahead, Councillor Clark. What's your amendment?
Right, my amendment, I'll start again, that Councillor Kennedy gauge the interest among the many sports he is involved with to see if he can provide full teams that would be interested in taking part in a competition with Bankstown, so that we would then be able to show Bankstown our interest. Whatever they decided would be up to them.
call a point of order, Madam Mayor. I don't have the authority to speak on behalf of council to go out and ask what I could do it as an individual person. I don't have the authority from a resolution of council to do that.
Thank you, councillor Kennedy. Councillor
Oh,
Brown?
I certainly wasn't expecting councillor Kennedy to do this on behalf of council. If I was thinking, he is obviously very interested and therefore he could gauge this interest as an individual in the many sports he is
Point
involved
of
with.
order, it's still a motion of council.
Yeah, so councillor Brown, I've been trying to say. Councillor Brown, you want to make?
Just a question of councillor Clark. I assume this is an addendum to the minute, to the mayoral minute. It's not an amendment which will replace the minute.
Well, can I, as a way forward?
I'm just clarifying this because
Councillor
otherwise.
Clark, is it my mayoral minute thing you wanted to add and include that as an addendum?
That is if it was the wish of council,
Can I-
not to replace it, because I think what we are trying to decide today is our association with a different council, with Blacktown Council.
Perhaps as a way forward that items 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 would be that the Key Direction Community Working Group investigate reinvigorating the Bankstown sister city relationships for sports. You happy with that? I'm happy to include that in my mayoral minute. It's a way forward.
Which key direction working group?
The community, our community,
Our community
which is
working.
councillor Kennedy's.
Oh, I
community.
see. Yes, but I would think that as part of that gauging, they would have to gauge the interest of the clubs, all the individual clubs, to ensure that you actually had teams. Otherwise, you look a bit silly.
And report back to council. So we'll investigate reinvigorating, report back to council in partnership with the Sister City Committee.
Just a question to the mayor.
Yes,
Can I just say yes?
okay. Councillor Kennedy?
Our community is quite busy. I'm more than happy to take it on,
Thank you.
but the manager of our group, who's sitting here tonight, is working on cultural plans, working on livability plans, working on disability action plans.
It doesn't
working
mean it
on-
needs to be done now. It'll be in the next term of council. And so it can be report back in 6 months.
Right,
Okay.
just
Yeah,
following
let's
up,
be
because
fair.
I
Thank you.
we've
for
got to
being-
make sure that we don't because at the end of the day, the staff have to follow it up, not councillors.
Yeah.
Councillors make
Thank you,
decisions.
councillor. I'm happy to include that. Okay, we've got a way forward. There's no further debate. I'll give a right a reply. I think this is the best way forward for everyone. We heard from councillor Adams that in fact, the various clubs and the mayor at Bankstown wasn't interested, but we do have new connections and that we do have someone with a sporting background at this stage who chairs that committee. So we can look at the way forward. I think this is a win-win for Broken Hill, certainly for our emerging artists, our young people. It's something that this council, since we were actually elected, has been talking about. How do we reinvigorate the sister city relationship? We thank Blacktown City Council, the mayor and the deputy mayor for reaching out to us. I look forward to working with them in the future, and as do all the other councillors. I'll put the vote.
Excuse me before you do. It still does not say which key working group up there.
Key Direction Working Group, our community Key Direction Working Group. I'll put the vote. All those in favour. Councillor Brown, Councillor Clark, Councillor Kennedy, Councillor Page, Councillor Gallagher, Councillor Nolan, Councillor Adams, Mayor Turley. Against, Councillor Allgate. Thank you, councillor. It's declared it carried. We'll now move to item 1, or the mayoral minute number 7/21. This is a supplementary agenda. Item 1, the postponement of the 2021 local government election. Councillors, I'll move my motion as it reads. The mayoral minute be received, that the postponement of the New South Wales 2021 local government election has taken away the democratic voting rights of the residents of New South Wales, given the elections have already been postponed by 12 months, that the postponement of the New South Wales 2021 local government elections by a further 3 months will severely impact the next council by effectively reducing their term from 4 years to 2 years and 9 months, that council right to the New South Wales Premier, to the New South Wales Opposition Leader, to the New South Wales Minister for Local Government, the Shadow Minister for Local Government, Minister for Western New South Wales, Shadow Minister for Western New South Wales, Member for Barwon, and the New South Wales Electoral Commission, John Schmidt, calling for an exemption for the postponement of the New South Wales local government election to be held on September 4th for regional and rural councils. Councillors, I'll move that way. Do I have a seconder? Councillor Clark. Councillors, I move this way. I think, like all of you, I was shocked on Saturday afternoon. I got a text message to tell me that the elections had been postponed. I know that Linda Scott had worked very closely with the New South Wales Electoral Commission to make sure that it was a safe election, a COVID safe election, and that, you know, this election would go forward. I understand, like all of you, that for those in the inner city, this would be a challenge to hold a safe election. But I believe that for rural councils, with iVoting, postal voting, with all the safe measures that the Electoral Commission was putting in place, that for rural regional councils that are not in a restriction, a lockdown as in Sydney, that this election could go forward. It is a disappointment, I think, for the candidates, for the councillors, for the mayoral candidates, certainly for the candidates that candidates in waiting. I think for all of them, they share the disappointment and shock, and that I believe that we could ask for this to be waited. And I'm unsure, and maybe someone here knows the answer for this, what was the public health advice to why they should postpone rural and regional councils elections? I'm not sure what the public health advice is. Councillors, I'll open the debate. Speakers against. Councillor
Move an
Kennedy.
amendment.
What's your amendment, councillor?
So same as written, right up until the last paragraph that says held of September 4. So from there it goes for regional and rural councils. That be replaced for all council areas that do not have a significant COVID-19 outbreak.
So are you including September 4th?
Yeah,
So include September 4th, and then where it says after 4.
for regional and rural councils be removed and replaced for all council areas that do not have a significant COVID-19 outbreak.
I'm happy to include that.
Oh, I don't want you to
Well,
include it, Madam Mayor.
Okay,
I'll
we'll go
move
to
my amendment.
debate. So the amendment, you're moving that way. Councillor Allgate, you're seconding.
Second,
Thank you, councillor.
I move this motion as I've moved similar motions on a number of times before when it was first delayed the 12 months, probably at least 2 or 3 times before September last year and a couple of times after that, each time at this council. Occasionally we got 2, 3 votes, never more than 3 votes. We now have a council that knows it's almost impossible for us to get this out and get a date of September 4 for election. So it's quite easy to do a little bit of grandstanding, and I find it pretty disingenuous to have this mayoral minute, considering Monday, the 26th of July was when nominations were to be opened, and Wednesday, the 5th of August, closed. This is nothing more than an attempt by the current council and our current mayor to give the perception from the community. I'm allowed an opinion, Councillor Clark. My opinion is my opinion. That's why I give it. Well, how about not grunt and groan and whatever else you're doing while I'm in the middle of speaking? My opinion is that, and there isn't a councillor here that can say that this can have any bearing, considering the timetable of the electoral office states quite clearly 28 days. So, or 30 something days, or whatever it is. Monday was when it started. How do we go back to Monday? We can't. So this mayoral minute is nothing more than grandstanding to the community, is if there is an attempt. If this council had been serious about getting exemptions, we should have written off to all these people numerous times before, even if we weren't able to have that election earlier than the September 4, we could have locked it in place that we were separate from the rest of the state. It didn't happen because the councillors and our current mayor didn't want it to happen. What is disappointing is not to the mayor or the councillors in this room, but to the community, because the community wanted to have their chance to have their say one way or the other. They would have been deciding whether they were voting for a $30 million library or getting projects such as the Imperial Lake, community gardens, footpaths clean, parks done, roads done, smaller library, plenty of things. Sister City restarted up to its once grand thing, trees cut down and removed, all the things that some of the councillors, well, at least two, I don't know the two sitting next to us, but I'm sure they're pretty similar. The community wanted to be able to answer that question, and they're the ones that are disappointed. So let's not pretend that the councillors are disappointed or the mayor's disappointed. Linda Scott made it quite clear in her correspondence. She contacted the Electoral Commission because, and I'll quote the Sydney Morning Herald, because Labor mayors were unhappy that the election was going to go ahead. Labor mayors.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. Can I just state, this council did not postpone the elections. I'll even repeat that in case somebody might be mystified by what Councillor Kennedy was saying. This council did not postpone the elections, and individual councillors sitting opposite me cannot tell what is going on in individual councillors' minds about it. There may be councillors who are very, very, very disappointed that the elections are not being held in September. You cannot know how people feel. And that is why the mayoral minute has to come before the council to give us all a chance to vote. I really do despair sometimes, Madam Mayor, at the attempts to cast aspersions on individual members of this council by Councillor Kennedy. I'm very sorry to have to say that, but I am so disappointed.
Thank you, Councillor Clark. Any speakers for the amendment? No speakers for. I'll put Councillor Kennedy's amendment. All those in favour? Councillor Kennedy, Councillor Allgate. All those against? Councillor Brown, Councillor Clark, Councillor Cool, Councillor Nolan, Councillor Page, Councillor Gallagher, Councillor Adams, Mayor Turley. The amendment's been lost. We'll now move
Question,
back to,
Madam Mayor.
Yeah, sorry, who's answering the question? Sorry.
Councillor Kennedy.
Yep, sorry, Councillor
I
Kennedy.
just find that vote quite peculiar, considering there was that the amendment that.
Sorry.
Madam Mayor, is that a question or a
Well,
comment?
when I get to it, it will be Councillor
just
LaCour. You'd
go-
like to butt in
Hey,
again?
Councillor Kennedy, you're constantly going off and posing it as a question, but you're just making
No,
extra
that's what
comment.
you lot
And I
do.
asked the mayor to rule whether he's asking a question.
Can we do a direct question, Councillor
Yes,
Kennedy?
so I'll start again.
Yeah, the
It
question.
was said during the thing, when I first moved my amendment, that you'd be happy to accept it as an addendum. Then we had all the councillors vote against it. Why did you vote against it when you're happy to have it as an
It's your
addendum?
debate, councillor. You didn't do a good debate.
Madam
Dude,
Mayor.
I'm saying your debate, it wasn't good debate. No, because Councillor LaCour was asking you, we're quite often.
After one word,
So,
Madam Mayor, one
again,
word I
Are
said.
you speaking against the mayor? After Councillor LaCour was asking you to give direct questions, because quite often you may not realise this, Quite often you do half your debate, then you give your question.
Point of order, Madam Mayor. Don't chastise me. Rule your council out of order. That interrupted me after I'd said 3 words. What would he have any idea what I was about to say? And then you say what I've done in the past. That's highly inappropriate.
Thank you, councillor. I won't rule him out of order.
Madam
He's
Mayor,
asked him to be direct.
Madam-
Thank you, councillor.
I have a question. I have a question because I'd like to,
I'm still in debate about the motion, councillor. So is it relating to this? What's your
it's
question?
relating to councillor Kennedy's question to you, which was about why did we vote against? Yes,
Thank you, councillor. Can you
Ma-
tell me
Madam-
what your question is?
I'm going to,
Thank
I'm
you,
going
councillor
to,
Kennedy.
I'm going to ask a question here of councillor Kennedy. Why did you not want a couple of words to be included in the original motion? Why did you want it to be a separate amendment?
Happy to answer that, Madam Mayor, because I wanted to let the community know what hypocrites some of the councillors are.
That is an offensive word to use in this council, and I ask you to ask the councillor to withdraw that.
Councillor Kennedy, we withdraw that.
I'll apologise for it.
Thank you. We'll move on now. So thank you, councillors. We're back to the mayoral minute. We have we're at the mayoral minute. Thank you, councillors. There's no further debate. I'll do the right of reply. Firstly, councillor Kennedy, in his debate, talked about why we didn't support both the motions before. There's a clear reality about this, councillors, and it was last year. There was no vaccination in Australia. Certainly wasn't one in New South Wales. Certainly wasn't one in Broken Hill. And there was no vaccination plan for Australia as well. That has changed greatly. For all of us, it was important to get this motion fairly quickly because, as we had said, nominations were opened on Monday, 2 days ago. We could easily adapt those timelines if the Electoral Commission would, to make sure that rural councils didn't have to wait to December to have their election. I think it was very timely by the government that it was actually announced on Saturday because of those nominations, and that the decision would have been made sometime earlier. I am disappointed, I have to say, for many reasons, and for the councillors here, some who had planned to retire, they may plan to stay on now because the term is much shorter. But for everyone, I thought there was a way forward. I'll put my mayoral minute and ask all those in favour. Thank you, councillors. I'll put the vote. All those in favour: Councillor Brown, Councillor Clark, Councillor Poole, Councillor Nolan, Councillor Councillor Kennedy, Councillor Page, Councillor Gallagher, Councillor Adams, Mayor Shirley. Against, Councillor Allgate. Thank you, Councillor Allgate.
Can I
The
make,
motion is carried.
can I make a comment, Madam Chair, unrelated to the election?
I don't think we're not in debate, councillor. Is it? So can we hold it over to the end of the meeting?
Well, I've said it before, and I think it needs saying again. Personalities appear to be coming into this. The Westminster system says quite
Councillor,
Quite
you're actually
clearly,
doing debate.
that
That's not
councillors,
making a comment.
councillors speak through the mayor, not directly at one another.
Thank you, councillor. Speak through the, councillor Clark did ask through the mayor. So,
While she's looking directly.
because she's being respectful.
Who's chairing it? Yourself or councillor
I think
LaCour?
I think councillor Allgate was
Well,
at that
councillor LaCour,
stage.
your councillor
Councillor
Allgate's talking to
Kennedy.
you, Madam Mayor. We've got
Councillor
councillor LaCour having a
Kennedy.
go at him.
Can we not have a civil debate? Thank you. Notice of motion, we'll move on to item 8. Notice of motion submitted will be considered in confidential. We'll move to item 9, the rescission motion for which there is nil. Item 10, report from delegates. Councillor Nolan, going to move that report? Madam Mayor. Councillor Nolan. I'll just go to seconder for the report. Councillor Brown. Councillor Nolan, would you speak to your report, please? Thank you. Councillor Kennedy, you're speaking against.
Move an amendment, Madam Mayor,
What's your amendment, councillor?
that the report from the delegate be received, that Councillor Nolan be commended for his long service to the city on the mining-related councils, and be thanked by the city for his work.
Okay, moved by councillor Kennedy, second by councillor Page. Councillor Kennedy, would you like to speak to? the
I would
motion?
like to speak to this, even though Councillor Nolan often has voted against me and we've been on the other side of many issues. This is one issue that I'm always supportive of Councillor Nolan on, and the hard work he does when he puts these reports to council. I commend him, and it's a real credit to him as a councillor and to the community, the amount of effort he has put in. Not every time does it come back that he comes with information that's always the best for us at a city, but often Councillor Nolan has come up with proposals that have come through the mining related council that actually has helped this city immensely. And I think it needs to be acknowledged. We don't know who's going to be still here come December. And not sure when there's going to be another mining related council meeting. So whether Councillor Nolan's there or I'm not there, I wanted Councillor Nolan to know I really do respect his input on that committee. Thank you, Councillor Nolan.
Thank you, councillor Kennedy. Well said. And thank you, councillor Nolan. With that, if there's no debate, I'd like to see a unanimous vote of thanks. I'll put the motion. All those in favour, Councillor Brown, Councillor Clark, Councillor LaCour, Councillor Nolan, Councillor Kennedy, Councillor Olga. Unanimous vote. Thank you, councillors. We'll move to item 11, report. Item 1, Broken Hill City Council report, date number 117/21, page 100. Correspondence report, trial of coach service Broken Hill to Mildura. Moved by councillor Adams, seconder, councillor Brown. Councillor Adams, would you like to speak to this, please?
Just that I, refer to recommendation 3 that we do prior to 2022, contact them again to try and make this a permanent service.
Thank you, councillor. I think one of the issues also is the lack of promotion for these services. If there's no debate, or councillor.
Yes, Madam Mayor, I'd like to, you just mentioned the lack of promotion. I'd like to suggest an addendum to this if the mover is happy with that we request that these services be advertised and promoted more effectively.
Are you happy to accept that? Okay, Councillor Adams is happy to accept that into the motion. We'll just get that wording up. Thank you, Councillor Brown. Well put. I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Against, declared it carried unanimous. Thank you, councillors. Move to item 2. This is the Broken Hill City Council report number 118/21, local government election caretaker period, page 103. It's sort of superseded at the moment. Councillors, do I have a mover? Moved by councillor Adams, seconded by councillor Clark. No
Just
debate.
A question, Madam Mayor.
Yes.
Have we received an update from the OLG with the new dates for that? I just have a vague idea that we have.
Mr. General Manager.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. Yes, we have OLG has provided the circular and it was attached to the Mayor's Mayoral Minute with the new dates and new information.
I'm just thinking, councillors, it's hard to accept this as is. I wonder if, Councillor Adams, if you just say item 1 be received and not include item 2. Are you happy with that? Happy with that, Councillor Clark? Because you can't take it further. So, and we'll, as we get closer to the next caretaker mode, we'll have a date for that. Is there any debate? No debate. I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Councillor Nolan, carried unanimous. Thank you, councillors. We'll move to item 3. Item 3 of Broken Hill City Council report number 119/21, page 107, the draft library policy for public exhibition. Do I have a mover? Councillor Adams. So who's that? Oh, Councillor Adams moved it. So Councillor Nolan, you happy to second it? So second by Councillor Nolan. It's hard without the mask if people speak, but I'm not sure where it's coming from. Councillor Adams, do you want to speak to the motion, please?
Madam Mayor, it is really a good policy to be going out to the people. I know that our staff have worked really hard to put this one together, and I think they've done a really good job. I know that I did have a bit of concern about who was responsible for the social media, but I think that's not in this one, it's in the next one. So I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
Thank you. Speakers against? No speakers against. I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Declared it carried unanimous. Thank you, councillors. Item 4, Broken Hill City Council report number 120/21, page 134. This is the investment report for June. Do I have a mover? Moved by Councillor Nolan, seconded by Councillor Gallagher. Councillor Nolan, do you want to speak to the motion? Thank you, Councillor Nolan. Well said. Is there any debate? No debate. I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Carried unanimous. Thank you, councillors. Move to item 5, the Broken Hill City Council report number 121, the Monday Fringe Footpath Dining Exemption, page 147. Do I have a mover? Moved by Councillor Adams, seconder, Councillor Gallagher. Councillor Adams, do you want to speak to the motion?
Oh, look, this is a really good incentive for the Monday event, and unfortunately we're sort of watching the dates and things change with that as well. So having this in front of us as an amendment that we will be able to deliver this to our business people whenever the Monday takes place, I think is an excellent policy.
Thank you, councillors. Any discussion, any debate? No debate. I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Declared it carried unanimous. Councillors, you're doing very well tonight. I have to say, you know that we're not in caretaker mode next month. Item 7, Broken Hill City Council report number 123/21, the minutes of the Broken Hill led reference group, page 170, moved by Councillor Brown, seconded. Oh,
Mr.
sorry,
Travick,
did I
Madam Mayor.
change? I'm the one who's thinking we're moving ahead. Moved by Councillor Brown, the Traffic Committee, item 6. Councillor Brown has moved that way. Second, Councillor Clark. Councillor Brown, do you want to speak to the motion?
Yes, Madam Mayor. I would like to add an addendum to the recommendation on the subject of the childcare, the Happy Day issue that was discussed at the last meeting. I'd like to move, in addition to the existing recommendations, that we send a motion to the Local Government New South Wales Conference advocating speed limits for all childcare and long day care centres. so that, you know, would get around the problem we currently have, that they're not legal for these businesses because they aren't schools.
Thank you, councillor Brown. Councillor Clark, you're happy with that addendum? Very, very sensible.
Yes, very happy with that, because I think anywhere that we have little children, we do need every safety precaution we can possibly have.
Okay, we'll have a motion. Is there any debate?
Yes, Madam Mayor.
I have two issues. Councillor.
I'm going to move an amendment, Madam Mayor,
What's your amendment?
or an addendum. I'm sure the councillors would take it. That I also have a question before I move it, actually.
What's your question?
The
councillor?
question is to do with the Union Street parking. If we could have I know the Mayor, Madam Mayor said she'd follow it up. If we could just have that noted about the Union Street parking, and if Councillor Brown might remember that Gary Radford actually freed up some land at the end of the street, so it would make it able for cars to turn around, because what the issue was the narrowness of the streeting, the turning of things. So if when Councillor Brown brings that up, if you could just mention how after that decision, there'd been land freed up. But yes, the amendment, but I'm sure it'll be addendum, is to thank Councillor Brown for her service on the Traffic Committee. This is another one, and I think that as a councillor needs to be thanked and commended for a long time service on this committee. It's another committee that's not as well. That's my thing that'd be noted, and I'd
We're
like
happy
to speak to it.
include it. We're
So
happy
if
to
I could
include
just speak to it is, again, even though we argue on things, all councillors still do a lot of work, and Councillor Brown, that's one thing that this Traffic Committee always comes here. It keeps the other councillors abreast of what's happening traffic-wise. The councillor is always there putting the community's point of view and the council's point of view to the police and the RMS, and I think that as a councillor, we need to acknowledge that. And as an individual council, I acknowledge it, Councillor Brown.
Thank you, councillor, and we'll include that in the motion, and well said. And certainly councillor Brown has certainly been able to help us negotiate our way through some of the Traffic Committee decisions and advocate on behalf of the community. For that,
I have something.
oh, sorry, what was yours, councillor Adams?
Just really letting everyone know, as a continuation of the Happy Day, there is a petition online through Facebook, and it's, you know, it is gathering traction. But very happy to say that the counters are already on the road, and there's great big huge sign saying beware of pedestrians. So there is a start. The one little negative that I would say, and I'd hope this can be picked up, and that is that if someone makes a submission and they send it through our local Traffic Committee if it has to go to Traffic New South Wales, which was what I was told by a return email, and not, I find it very difficult that we can't have the local Traffic Committee actually forward it on to Traffic New South Wales, rather than tell the person that's putting in the submission that you have to send it straight to Traffic New South Wales. I think it's just a bit rude, to be honest. Surely it wouldn't have mattered for it to have been forwarded within our system to Mr. Vant, I think his name is. It's nothing to do with the local traffic. That instruction did come from Traffic New South Wales, so I'm not knocking our local branch, but it just seems strange that it could not just have been forwarded. Thank you.
Thank you, councillor Adams. I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Declared it unanimous. Thank you, and congratulations again for your contribution, councillor Brown. Item 7, Broken Hill City Council report number 123/21. Minutes of the reports of the Broken Hill Led Reference Group, page 170. Councillor Brown, you're moving that way. And seconder, councillor Clark. Councillor Brown, do you want to speak to the motion?
There's not a great deal to say, Madam Mayor. This was the first meeting for a while, and it is an advisory committee. Well, it's more of a forum to share information. There's quite a lengthy report about the presentation from the hygiene and toxicology person from Safe Work, which was quite interesting. But unless there are questions, I'll leave the report to speak for itself.
Okay, is there any debate? No debate. I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Unanimous vote. Thank you, councillors. Move to item 8, Broken Hill City Council Report 124/21, page 188, the Broken Hill City Council Action List Report. Is there a mover for that? Moved by Councillor Gallagher, seconders, Councillor McCool. Councillor Gallagher, do you want to speak to the report?
Madam Mayor, just speaks for itself. We're going quite well with the action list. It's fairly fair for you Greens. It's good to see what we're progressing. That's about all.
Thank you, Councillor Gallagher. Is there no debate? No debate. I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Declared it carried. Councillor Page, are you your hand up? Yep, sorry.
Yes, Madam Mayor, I think we should say thank you to our General Manager on this outcome. We're thanking a lot of councillors tonight, but the General Manager's put in a lot of hard work equivalent to the council laws. So I personally like it recorded that the General Manager is doing an outstanding job, and thank you very much.
Thank you. I thank him every day, Councillor Page. I
Well,
do
that's
indeed.
nice to hear, Madam Mayor. Say you
He's
should.
much appreciated. Okay, but I'm going to tell you, we've still got a couple of meetings to go. Sorry? I'm
We've got 3 meetings to go, Madam
still
Mayor.
got 3 meetings, but a lot of thank you to go. I'll put the motion again. All those in favour? Declared it carried unanimous. Thank you, councillors. Move to committees report. Item 1, minutes of the Picton Oval Committee,
Move that
page
way.
209. Moved by Councillor Cool, second by Councillor Adams. Councillor Cool, do you want to speak to the motion?
Madam Mayor, I'd just like to point out that it's really heartening that the Picton Oval Committee has taken on board the idea of an off-leash dog run on part of that site towards the, what is it, the west north kind of area, that corner. But also to include, there'll be, if it goes ahead, and I'm pretty sure it will, this is a really great committee, they're really forward thinking, that it will include an area for large dogs and then an area for small dogs. So it's something that would be a real extra asset to the community. Thank you.
Thank you, councillor. Thank you for that update. If there's no debate, I think it's a great idea for the small dogs as well. I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Declared it carried unanimous. Thank you, councillor, and thanks to the Committee of Picton. Item 13, questions taken on notice from the previous meeting. Do I have a mover? Moved by Councillor Clark, seconder. Seconder, Councillor Adams. No debate. I'll put the motion. All those in favour? Against? Declared it carried unanimous. Thank you, councillors. Questions for next meeting arising. Lisa has captured that. Is there any other questions that only relate to the items on the agenda? No. Thank you, councillors. We're moving into confidential.
Excuse me, Madam Mayor, could we just make a quick comment before we go into confidential while people are in the gallery, because some of them may go. It's a very nice one. Everyone's saying thanks and everything else. So I'd just like to congratulate Deputy Madam Mayor and Councillor Gallagher for their recent retirements. 40 years of service to health and policing, respectively, is a pretty mighty job done well by these two people. And as they are now in our council room, I think it's only fitting that we acknowledge that fact that they have retired from that line of work, but will continue on in public service. Thank you.
Thank you. It certainly is. I think councillor Gallagher and myself will be wondering how we have all day to get to a council meeting and we can reread the papers. So thank you, councillor Adams, on behalf of councillor Gallagher and myself. And certainly 40 years in the police force and 42 years in health is a big service. But I think we're both very honoured. We'll move to confidential. Call for motions to go into closed session. I have a mover by
that way.
councillor LaCour, seconded by councillor Clark. I'll put that, all those in favour. It's unanimous. Thank you, councillors. Can I ask the media and the public to leave the chamber? But I will say Okay. Ready for your report? We know there's no drinks tonight, don't we? Because it's 8 o'clock. What is going on, Tom? Tell me. We appreciate it when you're in a hurry. Have we lost? Cody, you can make sure you say that every time. Are we ready? Who we got missing? Where's Lockie? Oh, okay. Well, we can. Oh, he's right. Can I ask the general manager to relay the motions that were endorsed while we're in confidential? Are we back on? Sorry, can I just check? Are we back live streaming? Thank you.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. Confidential item 1, Broken Hill City Council Report number 126/21, confidential minutes for confirmation of the council meeting held 30th of June 2021. Resolved 1, that Broken Hill City Council Report number 126/21 dated July 2, 2021 be received. And 2, that the confidential minutes of the ordinary council meeting held 30th of June 2021 be confirmed. Item 2, mayoral minute number 621, general manager performance agreement criteria. Resolved 1, that mayoral minute number 621 dated July 9, 2021 be received. 2, that the minutes of the general manager performance review panel workshop held on 16th of June 2021 be received and noted. 3, that the criteria of the general manager's performance agreement as attached to the mayoral minute be received and noted. Item 3, motions of which notice has been given number 18/21. Resolved. Sorry, councillors, resolved 1, council initiate an independent audit of the Civic Centre litigation once it's completed. 2, that the independent audit is completed in alignment with council's internal audit framework and program. 3, that the Audit Risk and Improvement Committee develop the terms of reference of the audit in conjunction with council's independent auditor and also provide oversight of the process and implementation of any recommendations. 4, that a report from the Audit Risk and Improvement Committee be provided on the committee's findings and recommendations be presented to council. Item 4, Broken Hill City Council Report number 127/21, tender T21/14, Central Business District's Wayfinding Project. Resolved 1, that Broken Hill City Council Report number 127/21 dated July 12, 2021 be received. 2, that council endorses the tender from Buchanan for stage 1 of the CBD Wayfinding Project as detailed within the report and submission for the amount of $134,320 excluding GST. 3, the council endorsed the tender from Buchanan for stage 2 of the CBD Wayfinding Project as detailed within the report and submission for the manufacturing and installation of the wayfinding project to be negotiable dependent on stage 1 of the tender to a maximum value of $641,000 excluding GST. Item 5, Broken Hill City Council Report number 128/21, subject T2115 Central Business District Banner Poles tender 21/15. Resolved 1, that Broken Hill City Council Report number 128/21 dated July 12, 2021 be received. 2, that council awards the tender T21/15 tender to One Wi-Fi Infrastructure Proprietary Limited to to provide smart banner poles in the Central Business District and Patton Street Precinct up to a maximum sum of $886,435 excluding GST, negotiable upon the number of poles required. Item 6, Broken Hill City Council Report number 129/21. Tender T219 Galena Mercury Tau Intersection Upgrade Utilities Relocation Stage 1. Resolved 1 that Broken Hill City Council Report number 129/21 dated July 6, 2021 be received. 2 that Council award tender T21/9 Galena Mercury Tau Intersection Upgrade Utilities Relocation to Vertex Power and Process Proprietary Limited for the tendered amount of $342,904 excluding GST. 3, that council accept the proposals for the relocation of utilities and electrical assets as part of Galena Mercury Tau Streets intersection upgrade. Supplementary agenda number 1, confidential item 1, tender T2110 supply 4 by waste truck fleet packages, tender T21/10. Resolved 1 that Broken Hill City Council Report number 130/21 dated July 15, 2021 be received. 2, that council award tender T21/10 for the purchase of 4 waste truck fleet package consisting of 3 by FE EU6 4x2 rigid air ride with Buca body and 1 by FM11 HA 8x4 rigid air ride distribution Buca front lift to Hino Motor Sales Johnson Truck and Coach for the total price of $1,578,528.90, including GST. Thanks, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. General Manager. And with that, I'll close the meeting. Thank the staff for those who attended, the media and the councillors for